Hello again. I'm sure that most viewers will remember the scenes in Bristol in June during the first lockdown when a howling mob pulled down the statue and chucked it in the harbour, while the police, of course, stood by and did absolutely nothing. This was a protest about slavery in the 18th century, and so special rules applied, obviously. The reaction of the police is, of course, very different when the protests concern the wearing of masks. On Thursday night, 190 people were arrested in central London for doing nothing other than gather peacefully in the centre of the city. Nobody was pulling down statues or anything like that, but the police were very quick off the mark that night. After the statue of Edward Colston was hauled from its plinth, there was a rash of similar actions in Britain and America, with statues being daubed with paint and so on, and in England there were ferocious demands for the removal of other statues with questionable associations. The northern city of Leeds was one place where there were strident calls for the pulling down of old statues. Time now to see the advantages of democracy over mob rule. Leeds set up an inquiry headed by Alison Lowe, who is the first female black councillor in Leeds. An appeal was launched for the opinions of everybody in Leeds on the subject, so that the strength of opinion on the subject of statues being removed could better be gauged. People could respond by email to the consultation, and a total of 1,262 people did so. Of that number, just 123 were in favour of continuing the review and trying to identify statues to be pulled down. A total of 43 people demanded the removal of specific statues. Over 750,000 people live in Leeds, about 790,000 in fact. And of that number, just 43 wanted to pull down statues. That's 1 in 18,000. Nothing could more clearly illustrate how little support the militant activists of the Black Lives Matter movement who are behind the events in Bristol actually have when it comes down to it. The mad enthusiasm for tearing down statues seems to have died down a bit now, which is good. It all goes to show the folly of allowing a handful of shouting extremists to dictate what happens on the streets, and the wisdom of allowing democracy to direct the course of events instead.